Section 6B, Training Responsibilities. 6.4, Training Opportunities. Well-trained workers mean higher production, positive morale, greater profits, and higher wages. The demand for training costs the Air Force millions of dollars annually, and for good reason. To accomplish the mission, whether that means sending satellites into orbit, planes in the air, reports to higher headquarters, or vehicles on the road, training is a must. Training is something every airman needs throughout their career, from basic military training to technical training to advanced skill level training and beyond. 6.5. Basic military training. All enlisted airmen are trained in the fundamental skills necessary to be successful in the Air Force. These skills include basic combat skills, field training exercises, weapons training, military discipline, physical fitness, drill and ceremonies, dormitory inspections, history and heritage, core values, and a comprehensive range of subjects relating to Air Force life, such as financial management, family issues, and alcohol, substance abuse. More than 7 million young men and women have entered Air Force basic military training. Basic military training begins with the receiving phase, 0 week, and ends with graduation. Military training instructors are responsible for most of the training that takes place, and they accompany trainees throughout the training process. Following graduation, all airmen proceed to the appropriate technical training school or their first duty assignment. Technical training typically lasts anywhere from 1 month to 2 years, depending on the airman's assigned Air Force Specialty Code, AFSC. 6.6. On-the-Job Training. The Air Force On-the-Job Training, OJT, provides personnel the opportunity to attain knowledge and skill qualifications required to perform duties in their specialty. Effective training, knowledge, proficiency, and experience are integral parts of a unit's mission that will ultimately lead to a successful career and contribute to a solid national defense. An effective OJT program requires commander and supervisory involvement at all levels. While the supervisor's primary responsibility is to plan OJT that outlines specific, short-term, mission-related goals for the trainee, overall success depends on the supervisor's ability to advise and actively assist airmen in reaching their long-range career objectives. The Air Force OJT program consists of 3 components: job knowledge, job proficiency, and job experience. Job knowledge. Job knowledge is satisfied through a planned program of study involving career development courses, CDC, or technical references listed in the Career Field Education and Training Plan, CFETP, or identified by the supervisor. Job proficiency. Job proficiency is hands-on training provided on the job, allowing the trainee to gain proficiency in tasks performed in the work center. Job experience. Job experience is gained during and after upgrade training to build confidence and competence. 6.7. Upgrade training. Upgrade training leads to award of higher skill levels and is designed to increase skills and abilities. AFSC upgrade training requirements for award of 3, 5, 7, and 9 skill levels are outlined in AFI 36-2101, classifying military personnel, officer and enlisted, and the applicable CFETP. Apprentice. Airmen must complete an initial skills course for award of the 3-skill level. Retraining into an AFSC may be accomplished via OJT training alone only when specified in the retraining instructions and as approved by the Career Field Manager or the Career Field Functional Manager Air Reserve Component. Personnel retraining via OJT may be awarded a 3-skill level when they complete knowledge training on all tasks taught in the initial skills course and other tasks and mandatory requirements. Journeyman. Airmen must complete mandatory CDCs, if available, and applicable mandatory core tasks identified in the CFETP. Award of the 5-skill level also requires completion of all mandatory requirements listed in the Air Force Enlisted Classification Directory, AFE-CD. Additionally, the member must be recommended by the supervisor and approved by the commander. Individuals in retraining status, Training Status Code F, are subject to the same training requirements. Craftsman. To be a craftsman, the member must be at least a staff sergeant, complete mandatory CDCs if available, and complete applicable mandatory core tasks identified in the CFE-TP. Award of the 7 skill level also requires completion of a 7 skill level craftsman course if career field requires it, and mandatory requirements listed in the AFE-CD. Additionally, the member must be recommended by the supervisor and approved by the commander. Individuals in retraining status, Training Status Code G, are subject to the same training requirements. Superintendent. For award of the 9 skill level, the member must be at least a Senior Master Sergeant, meet mandatory requirements listed in the AFE-CD, be recommended by the supervisor, and be approved by the commander. 6.8 Unit Training Management. The unit training program is designed to ensure all airmen receive quality, standardized, comprehensive training. The trainee is the focal point of the training program, while at the forefront, unit training managers and supervisors work together to plan, conduct, and evaluate the trainee's efforts to become qualified to perform in their Air Force specialty. The success and quality of training greatly depends on the trainee's active participation and understanding of the training program, as well as the relationship between the supervisor, trainer, and trainee. Basic requirements of the unit training program state that newly assigned personnel will be interviewed within 30 days, 60 days for Air Reserve component, to determine training status and issue CDCs upon confirmation with the Course Development Student Administration Record System. Work Center training orientation will be conducted within 60 days of assignment, 120 days for Air Reserve component. A comprehensive trainee orientation will be conducted for trainees initially entering upgrade training within 60 days of assignment, 90 days for Air Reserve component. And a training progress review will be conducted with the unit training manager, supervisor, and trainee at the 24th month of upgrade training. Before being submitted for upgrade, the trainee must meet all mandatory requirements as defined in the CFE-TP, AFE-CD, and the Air Force Job Qualification Standard, AFJQS. Unit Training Managers. Unit training managers are the commander's key staff members responsible for overall management of the training program. Training managers serve as training consultants to all unit members and determine if quality training programs are in effect within all sections. Training managers develop, manage, and conduct training in support of in-garrison and expeditionary mission requirements, advise and assist commanders and unit personnel in executing their training responsibilities, and conduct a staff assistance visit of the unit's training program when requested by the unit commander. Supervisors. In addition to unit training managers, supervisors have the single greatest impact on mission accomplishment with regard to training. They must share their experiences and expertise with trainees to meet mission requirements and assure a quality training program is provided. Supervisors develop master training plans to ensure completion of all work center duty position requirements, for example, 100% task coverage. The supervisor must also integrate training with day-to-day work center operations and consider trainer and equipment availability, training opportunities, and schedules. Trainers. The trainer, often the trainee's supervisor, is selected based on their experience and their ability to provide instruction to the trainee. Additionally, they must maintain task qualification and complete the Air Force training course. Trainer responsibilities include planning, conducting, and document training, preparing and using teaching outlines or task breakdowns, developing evaluation tools, and briefing the trainee and supervisor on the training evaluation result. Task certifiers. Task certifiers provide third-party certification and evaluation of progress in the training program. Certifiers must be at least a staff sergeant with a 5-skill level or civilian equivalent, complete the Air Force training course, and be capable of evaluating the task being certified. Certifiers will develop evaluation tools or use established training evaluation methods to determine the trainee's abilities and training program effectiveness, and will brief the trainee, supervisor, and trainer on evaluation results. 6.9 Training Forms and Documentation. Training documentation is important to personnel at all levels because it validates the status of training and task qualification. Documentation also helps managers assess mission capability and readiness. and it defines requirements for individual career progression. Air Force Form 623, Individual Training Record. The AF Form 623, Individual Training Record, 6-part folder, when required by the Career Field Manager or approved electronic equivalent, is generated for all trainees entering upgrade training for the first time. The training record reflects past and current qualifications and is used to determine training requirements. Supervisors maintain the training record and ensure it is available to applicable personnel in the chain of command, including the unit training manager, upon request. Unless classified, the training record is returned to the member upon separation, retirement, commissioning, promotion to Master Sergeant, or as otherwise directed by the Career Field Manager. Air Force Form 623A, On-the-Job Training Record Continuation Sheet. Use AF Form 623A, On-the-Job Training Record Continuation Sheet, or automated version to document an individual's training progress. The form reflects status, counseling, and breaks in training. Career Field Education and Training Plan. The CFETP is a comprehensive core document identifying life cycle education and training requirements, training support resources, core and home station training, and deployment unit type code task requirements for Air Force specialties. Supervisors use the CFETP to plan, prioritize, manage, and execute training within the career field and to identify and certify all past and current qualifications. CFETP Part 1 provides information necessary for overall management of the specialty and is maintained as part of the Work Center Master Training Plan. CFETP Part 2 contains the specialty training standard identifying the duties, tasks, and technical references to support training, core and home station training tasks, deployment unit type code tasks, and CDC requirements. At least one copy of the entire CFETP Part 1 and 2 should be kept in the Work Center for general access and master training plan development. Air Force Job Qualification Standard. The AFJQS is a training document approved by the Career Field Manager for a particular job type or duty position within an Air Force specialty. Air Force Form 797, Job Qualification Standard Continuation, Command, JQS. AF Form 797, Job Qualification Standard Continuation, Command, JQS, is a continuation of the CFETP Part 2 or AFJQS. This form defines locally assigned duty position, home station training, and deployment unit type code requirements not included in the CFETP Part 2. Air Force Form 803, Report of Task Evaluations. Evaluators use the AF Form 803, Report of Task Evaluations, to conduct and document completion of task evaluations during training staff assistance visits, when directed by the commander, or when task certification requires validation. Completed evaluations conducted on a single trainee by the supervisor, trainer, or task certifier are filed in AF Form 623, Individual Training Record, until upgraded or no longer applicable. Air Force Form 1098, Special Task Certification and Recurring Training. Supervisors use the AF Form 1098, Special Task Certification and Recurring Training, to document selected tasks requiring recurring training or evaluation. Air Force and Major Command directives may identify tasks contained in the CFETP that require special certification, as well as recurring training or evaluations. Master Training Plan. All work centers will have a Master Training Plan established. The Master Training Plan employs a strategy for ensuring all work center job requirements are completed by using a master task listing. The Master Training Plan provides milestones for tasks and CDC completion and prioritizes deployment, unit type code, home station training, upgrade, and qualification tasks. 6.10 Career Development Course Program. The CDCs, or equivalent training materials as designated for AFSCs, are published to provide the information necessary to satisfy the career knowledge component of training. These courses are developed from references identified in the CFETP that correlate with mandatory knowledge items listed in the AFECD. CDCs must contain information on basic principles, techniques, and procedures common to an Air Force specialty. They do not contain information on specific equipment or tasks unless the specific equipment or task best illustrates a procedure or technique having utility across the career field. Career Development Course Administration. When applicable, unit training managers will ensure trainees are enrolled in the required CDCs within 45 days of in-processing, within 60 days for overseas units. Within 10 duty days of receipt, the unit training manager issues CDC material to the supervisor and trainee, briefs them on proper use of the CDC, and documents the trainee's AF Form 623A on-the-job training record continuation sheet, or equivalent automated training record. The supervisor then determines volume sequence of study, sets the overall course completion schedule, and develops a tracking system to monitor progress. Each CDC volume must be completed within 30 days unless the unit training manager grants an extension due to mission requirements. Air Reserve Component and individual mobilization augmentees have 60 days to complete each CDC volume. Unit training managers and supervisors work closely with trainees throughout CDC completion to satisfy career knowledge requirements for upgrade training. They remain involved throughout the completion of CDC programs and ensure documentation is maintained regarding unit review questions, counseling, course examination preparation, and test results. Open Book Review. CDC materials include a set of unit review questions as an open book teaching device for the supervisor to score and review with the trainee. The field scoring sheet is kept in the AF Form 623 individual training record or automated training records, along with the counseling documentation. The supervisor conducts a comprehensive review of the entire CDC with the trainee in preparation for course examination and documents the review in the training record. Course examination. Supervisors will notify the unit training manager of when to schedule and order the course examination. If the trainee receives a satisfactory course examination result, the supervisor conducts and documents a review of the training, then signs and places the course examination scorecard in the training record until the trainee completes upgrade training or qualification training. If the trainee receives an unsatisfactory course examination result, the unit commander, with help from the unit training manager or base training manager, interviews the supervisor and trainee to determine the reason for failure and the corrective action required. Commanders will conduct this interview within 30 days from the initial notification, 90 days for Air Reserve Component and individual mobilization augmentees. The supervisor documents the counseling in the training record, places the trainee in supervised review training, and forwards a copy of the evaluation to the base training office. If the trainee receives a second unsatisfactory course examination result, the unit commander, with assistance from the unit training manager or base training manager, interviews the supervisor and trainee to determine reason for the failure within 30 days from initial notification, 90 days for Air Reserve Component and individual mobilization augmentees. After reviewing the facts, the unit commander decides on one of the following options. 1. Evaluate for possible CDC waiver. Do not place trainee into Training Status Code T. 2. Withdraw the airman for failing to progress. Place into Training Status Code T and pursue separation. 3. Withdraw the airman for failing to progress. Place into Training Status Code T. Request career field withdrawal and recommend retraining or return to a previously awarded career field. Or 4. Withdraw airman for failing to progress, place into Training Status Code T, reevaluate at 90 days, and pursue one of the first 3 options as appropriate. 6.11. Retraining Program. The retraining program is designed to balance the number of personnel in specific grades and year groups of an Air Force specialty. Once retraining is approved and the airman has been assigned duty in the new specialty, upgrade training begins. With minor exceptions, training requirements are identical for retrainees and standard upgrade trainees. Refer to AFI 36-2626 Airman Retraining Program for additional details. 6.12 Language-Enabled Airman Program. The Language-Enabled Airman Program, LEAP, designed and managed by the Air Force Culture and Language Center at Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama, provides opportunities for officers and enlisted airmen who are skilled in a foreign language. The LEAP program enables the Air Force to sustain, enhance, and posture for the utilization of existing language skills and talents of airmen. Participation in the program is available to those airmen who have moderate to high levels of proficiency in a foreign language specified on the Air Force Strategic Language List as measured by Defense Language Proficiency Tests or oral proficiency interviews. Additional information on the Strategic Language List or the LEAP program can be found at http://culture.af.ml/leap/index.html.